Hello and welcome to everybody on my YouTube channel Cloud Fitness. So today we are going to talk about different data storage systems. Traditionally, every one of us know that we have data warehouse. Then why did data lake came into picture? Now, when we have data lake, why we are more focused on using the Lakehouse platform? So this will be a topic of discussion for today. Why do we have each one of them and what is the use case for each one of them? So let's go ahead. So first we'll talk about the traditional data warehouse. So they in data warehouses you have different source system putting the data into your set of tables, and basically you have a structured set of data and you kind of perform ETL operations on that data. You have some XYZ tool for performing the ETL, and then you aggregate the data and you take the meaning out of that data, and which is actually being used for the reporting purpose or to answer some of your business queries. So this data warehouse was looks promising. It is quite easier to read the records and write the data into your tables, because you know from which table to read actually, and you know which table to write to. So it provides faster reads and writes of your data into the table, and it has been quite some time that we have been using these data warehouses and they are reliable enough. But what is the major drawback of these data warehouse? Because let's say your business wants to understand about predictive modeling, right? Then in that case data warehouse have a very limited support for the machine learning workloads, because machine learning workloads will usually require unstructured data as well. But when you talk about the data warehouse, you can only use structured data inside a data warehouse, right? And apart from that, you cannot work with the streaming data in the data warehouse. By the time you process the data and do the operations on it, it becomes stale for the business basically. So it has limited support for your streaming data. It can only take in your structured format of data, and it has very limited support for the machine learning. Apart from that, there are other few drawbacks, like definitely it is expensive. You have to maintain the license, and the whole maintenance itself of a data warehouse is a big issue, right? Apart from that, like, it's easier to load in the data, but when you talk about taking the data out from a data warehouse, it really becomes very difficult, and it's really difficult to scale data warehouse as well. So because of these cons, data lake came into picture. Data lake actually provides much benefits out of when you talk about unstructured data, handling unstructured data, when you talk about scalability, this is where the data lake came into picture. Now, when you talk about the data lakes actually handle all kind of data. You can almost process any kind of data, your images, your videos, your structured data, your semi-structured or your unstructured data, which is not possible in your traditional data warehouse. And because of that, there is actually a larger support for your machine learning workloads as well in the data lakes. And definitely it is easier to scale, and it is flexible enough to hold large amount of data as well, right? So now when you have these prawns for the data lake, then why suddenly your lakehouse platform came into picture? Now think of a scenario where you are trying to load data into a data lake and suddenly there is some failure. You are not sure whether your full file gets loaded into the data lake or only your half of data has got loaded into the data lake. So this is the major drawback, and this is something which is related to your asset transaction in a traditional data warehouse. So when you talk about a database, and you know that it is an asset compliant, you have your whole data getting loaded at once or nothing getting loaded. All the process works in isolation. You have you have the concept of durability and consistency as well in your traditional data warehouse. But when it comes to the data lake, it does not offer that, which actually is the major drawback of a data lake. It is like really very hard to append the data. So for example, you want to add or you want to delete a single record from the file, because data lakes are file based, right? So if you want to even delete a single record, it's like very expensive operation. So even if there are any workarounds for that, it is really very expensive, because you end up writing the whole data again to the data lake. right? And since it is a file based system, you might end up having, quite a huge number of files inside the data lake, right? Which obviously will, slower down your performance. Your query speeds will get slower down, and you will have little complexity in maintaining it as well. In case you have, a kind of, huge amount of data, then even storing the metadata itself becomes a problem, because when you have a huge data, automatically your metadata is also quite huge, right? So these are some complexities which are actually, inherited with the data lakes, and this is the reason due to which your lake house came into picture. So there are quite a lot of things which we struggle with in terms of data lake, and even in terms of even in terms of your traditional data warehousing. So in a typical system, how do you work? So you have typical different silos. Now you have your data analyst, working on some structured data, building a data mart out of your data, and then which is being, specially used for analytics and for the visualization, which is basically your traditional data warehousing. So these set of people work, all together, quite separated from the data engineering and the data science and machine learning teams, right? Because they might end up working in different technologies than your data engineering team and data science team all together. And it is not possible, they, although they work separately, but it is required to, shuffle the data, to it is really very required to transfer the data in between these teams. But when they are working on some different technologies altogether, they are working on different technologies to process the same data. There are high chances of replication, and since they are working on different tools in itself, it is which actually don't go well with each other, it really becomes very difficult in terms of both performance, right? It becomes really very difficult in terms of performance. So these are some struggles that most of the organization deals with, because your data analyst might be working on some, in one area. Your data engineers, they have, your structured, semi-structured data, and they are directly performing some ETL operations. And then you have your, streaming data, that is also a part of data engineering itself. They work in complete isolation. And then you have data science and machine learning people, which are actually, developing their models, or training their models on a data, right? So just to bring all these streams together, avoid any kind of data replication, and enhance the performance, here came the concept of your Lakehouse platform, which actually provides a unified platform for every use case. Basically, when I say every use case, your machine learning your machine learning enthusiasts, your data science people, your analysts, your data engineers, everybody can come together on this platform, have a single source of truth for themselves, and work on this data. With Lakehouse, you actually have the reliability, the performance, the governance, and the quality which you cannot afford from a data lake. How is this being offered? How is this reliability, performance, governance being offered by your Lakehouse? It is through the Delta Lake. Now, this Delta Lake is actually the heart of a lake house, because this Delta Lake is what offers the best of both worlds. So this Delta Lake is actually asset compliant. How it is asset compliant? It maintains a transactional log. So using that transactional log, it actually overcomes half of the problem. And apart from that, you can actually, it's not just that you are dealing with the batch loads. You can actually deal with both batch as well as streaming workloads with high data throughput. There is no limit on the data structures, just like data lake. You can work on your structured, semi-structured, or unstructured data. And everything in a lake house is actually based on Parquet format, so remember that thing. Now let's go ahead and see, your Delta Lake, how your Delta Lake in a lake house is actually, offering you the asset transactions, or are offering you the various pros over your traditional data lake. Now, when I say about asset transaction, what happens is in a Delta Lake, it actually stores everything in form of a transaction log. So in case you add one file or you remove a one file, or you do any kind of operation, all the history is being maintained in form of transactions. So because of that, it becomes very easy to perform your transactional nature, transactional operations on the data. So it is not very difficult to append the data or delete something from your table, or delete something from your data, or delete something from your file. It is quite easy. Now, in case your job fails in midway, right, since it is asset compliant, right, the transaction will take place altogether, or it won't take place at all. So this is how it actually offers you uh, the asset capabilities. Now, apart from that, since as I explained that your whole data is maintained in form of transactional log, so definitely you have the concept of time travel here. You can go back in time and retrieve the previous version of your data. So that flexibility also you get here. Now, when you talk about handling large metadata, it actually leverages Spark here. So because Spark is actually meant for handling your big data, so even your Delta Lake, it has your metadata and data handled all together in one place. Even when you talk about that your data lake, since it is a file based system, it has it might have sometimes too many files, too many small files, or maybe too many large files, which might decrease the performance. In case of Delta Lake, that's not the case, because Delta Lake offers you indexing. It has a concept of partitioning. I will make a separate video out of this on partitioning as well. So you have the concept of partitioning, you have your partition pruning here, you have your Z ordering, because of which this even this corner of a data lake is now handled in Delta Lake. This is also one of the very good key factor when it comes to your Delta Lake, because you have your active control list, you have your table ACLs here, which offers a very good security. And since I have already explained that it is asset compliant, and on top of that you have a schema validation here. So for example, you are writing a file, right, or you are for example, you already have your data in a file and you are trying to append the data. So it goes through a full schema validation. So it makes sure that it does not append any bad data to your existing set. So this is how basically your delta tables or your Delta Lake is actually helping the organizations now, by having all people all together in one place, and uh, leveraging the Spark, leveraging your traditional data warehouse capabilities as well, and your data lake capabilities as well, all together in one place. So do let me know in the comment section in case you want me to make video on some other topic, or you want me to explain this topic more in detail. Do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much.